This is the best rivalry in the XFL. And we get it for a second time in 4 weeks? A lot of you asked, would I be bringing the Boulevard Bowl Tour to the Dome? Well, we pondered it. We did. We really thought about it. Do you guys truly think that's a good idea? For me to go out there dressed in red? Google told me that there was a 1 in 14 chance for me to be a victim of a violent crime in the city of St. Louis. If I wear this hat, I think that cuts in half. So until we have some security detail in the budget, because, again, Mikey Manziel is the most reliable bodyguard we have, and that's not so great. So I'm going to stay home and watch this one on the couch. I promise I will get to St. Louis at some point. Will The Rock show? Everybody said in my replies, oh, you said The Rock didn't show up for the opener. He was presenting at the Oscars. Who cares? He picked the Oscars over you. The Oscars. Come on. There's no such thing as football season. So cause the law. We know that there. And I just didn't feel part of that. So we're going to save the Boulevard Bowl Tour. What I will say is this. I'm calling somebody out directly, right in here to camera one tonight. Mike Ryan, the producer of the Dan Le Batard Show, thinks he's the president of the Battlehawks fan club. Here's my proposition to you, Mike Ryan. If the DC Defenders win on Saturday night, you have to come on our show, Springball Boulevard, and talk about how great the first place DC Defenders are. I should say when. Now, if things don't go my way, St. Louis Battlehawks improved to 4-1 with a win over DC. Reluctantly, I will come on the show, face painted in Battlehawk blue, and I will give you the loudest caw you have heard in your lifetime. If you agree to these terms, Mike Ryan, tweet me back a thumbs up emoji or give us a message. Our fans here on Springball Boulevard want to know, Mike Ryan, do you agree to these terms? Again, you come on the show. If DC wins, we'd love to have you here. I will paint my face in Battlehawk blue if St. Louis wins. Let's have some fun. So I'm curious how the Battlehawks faithful are going to welcome Jordan Ta'amu. I know he only starred there for 5 games 3 years ago in XFL 2.0. But think about it. Those 5 games meant a lot more to the city of St. Louis than the other 7 XFL cities 3 years ago. And that was because professional football was being reintroduced to the city when they were told that they weren't good enough to have a team. And that's important. A second chance for them to have professional football in the Dome. So with Ta'amu being part of that, those are core memories for St. Louis sports fans. And I think he'll get a warm welcome. But here's the issue. He's now in District Red. We got your guy. If you can't beat him, join him. St. Louis, 0-2. All time against DC. Never beat us. And much like Jordan Ta'amu's time with the Battlehawks in 2020, he's been crushing it for DC in 23. 3rd in the entire league in rushing. As a quarterback, over 5 yards a carry. He's taken only 2 sacks. That's a big credit to the offensive line and his mobility. For perspective, McCarron has taken 12. 10 less sacks for Ta'amu. That's huge. And he's piloted this offense, most importantly, to a 4-0 start. So the reads that this Fred Keiss system is going to throw at you, Jordan is silky smooth in this RPO. The DC Defenders leading the league in rushing by a 244-yard margin over second place, which I believe is Seattle. The De'Aaron King package, just been automatic down there in the red zone. Zook mentioned to me that Ta'amu's confidence might take a little hit if they keep doing this with King. I'm on the fence there. I don't think he cares that much. If it comes down to it and DC's in the playoffs and they do something like that, maybe, but I think Ta'amu gets the greater goal here. Some injury notes for DC. The RB2 there, Raquel Armstead, not practicing this week. He was banged up against Vegas. We'll see his status. But this offensive line, guys, has pushed for 40 first downs on the ground. That's the league's best. Starting tight end Ethan Wolf still out. But those guys on the line, Jersey Mike Maietti, Ty Clary, all starting to practice again, starting to get healthy at the right time to make this title run. St. Louis, dead last in the league in sacks and 7th in TFLs. Not good when you're going against mobile quarterbacks. You got to get to the passer. I won't expect them to have an effective pass rush on Saturday night. I think Donnie Abraham's focus for this St. Louis defense has to be stopping the run. This is what DC does best, right? They did a solid job against Arlington last week. I think they held them to under 50 yards rushing. Mike Rose, the linebacker out of Iowa State, where Anthony Beck's son, Rocco, actually plays quarterback. Wonder if there's probably a connection there. Mike Rose, very highly graded by PFF as a run stopper and in pass coverage. 2 new additions to the DC offense you may want to know about. This is after DC lost 2 guys, Puka Williams and Chad Hansen, both signing with St. Louis. They get a tailback, Raymond Calais, 7th-round pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, kind of a swing guy to replace Williams. He can play receiver as well. And Jazz Ferguson, this is a big one. That rings a bell for a lot of you. Ferguson spent time with the Renegades in XFL 2020. Had, I think, over 100 yards receiving in the short season there. He's also played in the NFL for the Seahawks. And he was with the DC Defenders in training camp, where some projected him as one of the top 2 receivers on the roster. So Jazz at 6'5", the former Northwestern State Demon, is healthy. We'll see if he's active on Saturday night. Be a great addition to that wide receiver corps who's finally coming along here. They said DC couldn't throw the ball. It was an issue the first 2 weeks of the season. They're coming along now with guys like Chris Blair and Lucky Jackson and Hazard. So we'll see if DC can throw it a little bit. Flipping to the St. Louis offense against this Greg Williams defender unit. How many calls is A.J. McCarron expected to get this time around? Remember, very critical of the officials after this last matchup in his post-game press conference. I think the crowd is going to make sure that AJ gets some calls this time. Sometimes the crowd can dictate more than you think when it comes to the game flow of the officiating. DC getting Gabe Wright back off a suspension. That'll be big in the front 7. Again, still missing Francis Bernard from the brawl that ensued after week 3. And then Jared Jones for St. Louis, the left tackle, also suspended for this one. Brian Hill is the key in this one. I think he's the biggest game changer on the field, probably on both sides of the ball. And they didn't run well with him last time. They got him involved in the pass game. He had 4 catches for 49 yards against DC in week 3. I don't know. I think when you have a Greg Williams defense who's going to get to the passer, again, they sacked AJ 4 times and they forced 4 turnovers. So you're going to want to try to establish a run here. As much as McCarron is going to push back on that, he wants to throw it every play. You have to establish a run. You got a damn good running back to do it. But again, I think Reggie Barlow and co. is going to outcoach this staff yet again on the way to a close DC Defenders win. You have the 2 undefeated teams going on the road in Houston and DC to the best possible teams that they could face. This is going to get very interesting. Zook told me earlier he thinks DC is going to win by 1 point and not cover. So I took his advice in my best bets later on in the show. And I laid some juice. But I got to ride with my boys here, Zook. DC, money line, has not let me down. Please don't let me down, because I really don't want to paint my face. We saw Mikey Manziel paint his chest in one of the man-to-man episodes, but I would rather not. I like the district red that I get to don here every single week. Zook, you've been following me on DC. I know it's been painful for you. This one, I questioned a little bit.
Not this week, baby. So I changed my mind.
I was going to say, that surprises me.
I changed my mind.
I thought you told me DC was going to win this game. Look at Zook with the late change.
The late change. And the reason why I changed my mind is home field advantage.
Okay.
That's all there's to it. I think that crowd is going to hurt DC's offense. I think they're going to have more penalties than normal. Yeah. And I think it's going to hurt them. They played so close the first game. I think the crowd gives them the edge. So
it would be logical to say that these 2 teams will split the series. So I'm not going to jump down your throat. 40,000 potentially in the Battle Dome for a night game, 6 o'clock local kickoff. It's definitely going to be tough. But I just think DC's built different. They're battle tested. They're built for the road. And Mike Ryan going to be crying the blues when DC goes 5-0. So are you, Chris, because your picks were looking good up until this. This might be your only third loss of the season. Shame it has to be on DC. Go ahead. Just get it over with Mikey. We know he's on the A.J. McCarron bandwagon. And again, Mikey Manziel. How is this? Mikey Manziel, cousin of Johnny Manziel, who was the biggest thorn in A.J. McCarron's side when they were in college together, is an A.J. McCarron fan all of a sudden? What a fair weather guy, this Mikey Manziel.